Hello and welcome to Tabletop Oddity. My name is Jay and today FFG have updated the rules for Star Wars Legion, essentially in preparation for the Tauntauns, Dewbacks, Sabine and Bosk, that kind of thing. And there's some juicy things in there. Straight off the bat, the first thing I can think of is that coordinated fire has been nerfed. So has the possible double reverse tank. But I'll go through, I've got some notes, we'll show you what it is and all that kind of stuff. But if at the end of the video you like the video, do consider pressing like, as it really does help. And if you're not subscribed to this channel and you want to see Star Wars Legion content, please do so, as that also really does help. So just for evidence sake, you can go on the website right now, look at the rules reference, it was updated today. And if you click that, you can get all of the new rules references and stuff like that. So here's a list of the stuff that they have said they've changed and etc. But I'm actually not going to go through this and mark it because I have some notes, and I feel like it's a bit easier for me to just talk to the camera and look at my notes because I've summarized it. So let's get my notes on the screen and have a gander. So as I said, coordinated fire has been nerfed. Essentially what it is now, if you spend one or more aim token, you can only pass one aim token along. So what was happening is that you try and pass like 2-3 aim tokens along your chain, and it was just guaranteeing that you would get lots and lots and lots of hits. But now you can only pass one aim token. So the card is still okay, I think. It probably is like a required nerf, maybe. I don't think anybody will say this is too powerful now, but it's still pretty decent. So I think that's in a good spot. The one thing I don't like is that it's a card update, but on the actual card in real life, people aren't going to have that. And as I mentioned at the start, what they've done is they've clarified a standard move. All the times that a standard move is just a normal move, like a compulsory move is a standard move, but a reverse, a climb, and a clamber, they are not standard moves. And the reason that was important is because with the tank, technically you could double move and then still get 2 actions when you disembarked, and that was mental because you could reverse backwards and it was just weird. Whereas now you can't do that, it's fixed. You no matter what you do, you're only going to get one move if you want both your actions. And then there's like lots of little things. For example, the charge tokens, like a detonate, things that you would detonate, you can now place them under troopers, so you can pretty much place them anywhere. Just because, if somebody's got a cluster, you couldn't quite often place them right in the middle because you needed to place it flat, like without anybody being on top of it. So they've done that. And then there's a lot of stuff about creatures. A couple of things is that creatures don't need to withdraw when they're engaged to move. So basically, they're going to be engaged, but they're going to not have to withdraw to move out of the combat if they want to, which I'm pretty okay with. And to go along with that, we've had RAM explained. RAM lets you change. Now initially I thought it said hits to crits, which you can do, but you can actually also change blanks to crits. So it's like once you've performed a full move, your attack of that weapon, so normally it's going to be on the melee weapon for the Tauntauns, lets you change blanks to crits, which is the most important part. Hits to crits could become relevant for vehicles, I would guess, yeah, of course, and Guardian. But so that's what RAM does. There's a couple of things extra in there. Spur is an extra keyword that I don't think we'd seen before, but that basically lets you gain 1 suppression to increase your speed by 1. Basically gotta go fast if you need to. And yeah, so I think that's pretty much all that I have for creatures there. Barricades will not provide cover to creatures, and there is advice for what kind of cover a vehicle will get. So vehicle will give. So the walkers generally give light, and the tank ground vehicles will give heavy. Moving on, so we have a little bit about detachments and shared keywords, that kind of thing. You know what it is, the detachments and the I want to say coordinated fire, but it's the one where you can help shoot somebody. Can't think of the name off the top of my head. But weirdly, for those guys, those detachments, all you need to do is deploy within a speed 1 of the original unit. So let's say you've got a shore trooper and then the detachment. You have to deploy your shore trooper first. You can't deploy these unless you deploy your shore trooper. Now, if there's nowhere for these to go, then you can actually just deploy them anywhere in your deployment zone. But if they can be deployed within a speed 1, they have to be, and that speed 1 can actually make it so that they're out of the deployment zone. So yeah, it's basically like a Scout 1 for detachments, which is interesting. I don't think there was anything really revolutionary there, just how, like, under what conditions you actually get to support the fire. I spoke about charge tokens, but detonate's been changed that you can now do it on attacks, moves, and any action. I think there was a question whether or not you could detonate based on a move, but they've basically confirmed that you can. One thing, this rule, this is one I'm not necessarily so keen on, but it is because it blows my mind. I was convinced it wouldn't be this. Basically, you can now touch terrain without being slowed down by that terrain. Now, the example here was that, like, for a barricade, it's difficult terrain if you want to go over it, but obviously you can always just walk up to the barricade and you'll be fine. And everybody understood that, and I was with that. But let's say you've got area terrain of, like, difficult terrain. Well, you can just walk up to it and touch it without being slowed down. But obviously, if you want to go in it, then you do get slowed down. Now, that's actually quite a big, I say a big change, but it's a big thing to know because of key positions. You now be able to get touch it where you might not have been able to touch it. You can get cover where you might not have been able to get cover, and ignore that cover if you're touching it. So that is something definitely to pay attention to. For sure. They also clarified a couple of things with poison and the bounty. If the poison kills your bounty target, then you can claim that bounty. A bounty, the whole, it spoke about, it works with, you can't hide in vehicles. That's one that I found interesting. Like, if you die in the vehicle, or if the bounty hunter kills you while you're in a vehicle, then the bounty hunter gets that point, which I thought was pretty interesting. They also changed a little bit, they didn't change this is sort of just clarification. Command cards where there is an effect like Annihilation Wounds, which just says everybody gets a suppression token, you get a suppression token, you get a suppression token. Well, that just happens straight away. And if there are 2 conditions that happen at the same, at that instant time, then it's the blue player whose action goes first. Another thing, which I'm just jumping all over the place, but this is what happens because it's all little rule changes. With Dauntless, you can jump, so if you do end up with Sabine and whatever, you can actually do that thing. Well, you can basically take a suppression token and jump, where people were just saying you have to do a standard move, etc. Agile X is an interesting keyword that it lets you take dodge tokens up to that X, but is not a dodge action. And then there's a little bit of clarity on the command hand itself, in that my command cards are secret, but the discard pile is a known entity, and your opponent can check the discard pile whenever. And if you get something like Han Solo's card that lets you get a command card back, you have to tell your opponent what command card you took back, which is nice just to have clarity on that. One little interesting thing that I thought was amusing, droids are immune to poison, which makes sense. So are vehicles. Droids are immune to poison, and I think that's probably it. There are a couple of other things like that I've probably missed, like this recharge. The shield still seems pretty terrible. Just all kinds of little things, but I think we've covered the main ones. As I said, the main big one for me is that coordinated fire and the double reverse tank. I think that's pretty good news if you ask me. But yeah, it's so nice to see these rules get updated reasonably quickly. The questions that the community asks get answered fairly speedily. I think that maybe I'm still intrigued in what happens if somebody has 2 poison tokens, who kills who's first, etc. But yeah, all in all, I think that's a pretty damn good rules update. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Let me know if I've missed anything major. Do let me know in the comments below. I won't hang around too long because it's quite warm in here and the sun is going up and down like crazy. But all in all, I'm happy to see them do this kind of thing on the regular. The fact that we've got the rules updates for Sabine Wren, Sabine Bosk, Tauntauns and all that kind of stuff sort of suggests it's all imminent. But I would very much like a little bit of clarity on when this stuff is actually coming out. But I spoke about that last time. And, that was the last video. Whereas now we've got the rules update, which is good news. Let me know if I missed anything. Let me know your thoughts on these rule changes. I'm pretty happy with them. I think the CF change is probably a good change, and the double reverse thing with the tank was mental, and the rest are just sort of sensible rules updates. I thought the touching the area terrain might go a different way, but I'm happy to be wrong. It's something to know if you ever need it when the time comes. Have a beautiful day, and goodbye. Bye guys.